Finally, there is World Trade Center Building Number 7, a 47-story high-rise located adjacent to the Twin Towers. Building 7 also collapsed into its own footprint and at free fall speed.
Show you a videotape of the collapse itself.
Describe that.
Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Building 7 collapsed in just under 7 seconds. Again, this is impossible without explosives to destroy the building's support columns. Somehow, CNN had inside information, as they reported the collapse at 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time, even though the building was clearly still standing.
We are getting information now that one of the other buildings, Building 7, in the World Trade Center complex, is on fire and has either collapsed or is collapsing.
Just minutes later, BBC also reported the collapse of World Trade Center 7, and it was still standing behind the correspondent as she reported its collapse.
Also collapsed. Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
That's what you would hope, because this whole downtown area behind me has been completely sealed off and evacuated, apart from the emergency workers. That was done by the mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
At 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Building 7 collapsed, just like they reported, and only a half hour after they reported it. And now we need to ask ourselves what happened right before 9/11.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
$2.3 trillion with a T. That's $8,000 for every man, woman, and child in America.
Rumsfeld made this announcement on the morning of Monday, September 10th. Are we to believe the Pentagon just noticed $2.3 trillion missing that day? Or did they wait for the right time to announce it, knowing the events of the next day would cause the missing $2.3 trillion to be quickly forgotten? And then there are the countless public Freudian slips and outright lies like this.
And you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to wonder exactly what President George W. Bush knew about the attack, and when he knew it. According to the official White House version, it was at this moment in a Florida classroom that Bush learned the second plane had hit the World Trade Center and that the U.S. was under attack. But here's what George Bush himself said almost 3 months later when asked about September 11th.
I was sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower of a TV. You know, the TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot. And it said it must have been a horrible accident. But I was whisked off there. I didn't have much time to think about it.
Now, wait a minute. George Bush was told about the second plane while he was inside the classroom. So you just heard him describe seeing the first plane crash on television that day. But that's impossible. No one saw the first plane crash on TV on September the 11th because the videotape of it didn't surface until the next day. So how could George Bush have seen what he said?
While no one can conclusively state what happened on 9/11, it's blatantly obvious that the official story we were told is a pack of lies. 9/11 was a catalyzing event that changed the United States forever, and it has been used to justify foreign wars and the loss of more and more of our freedoms since that dreadful day. The media wasn't telling the truth before 9/11, but it has only gotten worse.